A rocket is launched from ground level and is in flight for 4 seconds. I see it. Its height and feet can be modeled by that equation right there, which is graphed on the figure below. Find an expression H inverse for which the rocket is increasing and determine the domain of its inverse. All right, I got it. In order for you to find the inverse, the first thing I want to do is I want to turn any f of x's, or in this case, h of x's, into y, because that helps me understand the math better. My little ADHD brain can't handle an h of x floating around. So let me rewrite this out. Y equals negative 16 parentheses x minus 2 in parentheses squared plus 64. Second thing that you're going to do is you're going to swap your x and your y values. So y is now x and x is now y. Negative 16 y minus 2 squared plus 64. What you're going to do is you are going to find your new y value. So I'm going to subtract 64 from both sides. So now what that will look like is x minus 64 on the left, I'm kind of being a little lazy here, equals negative 16 times y minus 2 squared. Divide both sides by negative 16. Divide both sides by negative 16. And when you do that, I'm going to be a little clever here. When you divide everything by negative 16, I'm going to actually change this into negative x plus 64 and positive. I'm flipping all the signs because I'm dividing by a negative. I don't think you have to do that, but it looks like I don't see any negative 16s lingering down here, so I'm going to make it positive. So I'm going to make you negative x plus 64 over positive 16. And once again, what I did is by dividing a negative, I can flip-flop everything. That equals y minus 2 in parentheses squared. Now, in order for you to get y all by itself, we need to square root both sides. When you square root both sides, you usually have a positive or a negative, right? But in this case, they only want the positive part. And that is the only part that's going to make sense. So a positive square root when graphed looks like this. A negative square root when graphed looks like this. Obviously, I don't want stuff going underground. I want stuff going above ground. So I am going to get rid of you. And I'm only going to keep the positive part. So I really don't need that sign there anymore. What that does is I now have the big square root of negative x plus 64 over 16 equals, these guys cancel out, y minus 2. Add 2 to both sides. Let's see how they want me to write it. I have square root of negative x plus 64 over 16 plus 2 equals y. Let's flip-flop it and turn that into h inverse equals square root negative x plus 64 over 16 plus 2. Now this is my height. Okay. By doing it this way, I get this picture right here. And of course, that's obviously not drawn to scale because these go by 2s and these go by 10s and stuff like that. So it's not drawn to scale at all. But by doing this, I am now flip-flopping what my y, x, and x-axis stand for. The x-axis now stands for height. When I shoot a rocket up in the air, I really hope it doesn't go 2 feet in the air. I'm expecting it to go 64. So now that my x and my y are swapped, my new domain would be way the heck over here and would be 64. So B is my answer. So a lot to do there. There was a lot there. Not only did we have to find the inverse, we had to make sure it was positive only, and then we had to make sure that we had the right domain. But we did it, and I'm proud of each and every one of you.